Hello, my dear students. Welcome to your history class. We are doing chapter 4, India in the 18th century. This is video 4. Rise of independent states. Before we discuss this topic, let's do some word meanings. Provinces is another word for states. So state means province. Misrule, the unfair or inefficient conduct of the affairs of a country or state. In other words, misrule means bad government. Misgovernance means mismanagement or misconduct. Territory, an area of land under the jurisdiction of a ruler or state. And Diwan means chief treasury official, means Khajanchi. Diwan means Khajanchi, the person who has treasury with him. He is the chief treasury official. The later Mughal rulers were so weak that they could not hold the provinces of the empire together. These provinces were under governors who were mostly engaged in wars. Gradually, they took advantage of the situation of misrule and misgovernance by the central authority and declared independence. So, as the later Mughal rulers were weak, so they were not able to run the government properly. And the provinces, means the states, were under governors and governors were fighting with each other. The central authority, means the government of the country or of the state, was not doing its duties properly. There was misgovernance, there was misconduct, one could say. So that's why the governors took advantage of this and they declared independence. Means they separated themselves from the central authority or from the empire. So first such state we are going to discuss is Bengal. Bengal became independent in the 18th century. This province also included the territories of Bihar and Odisha. So at that time, Bengal was a large state. It included the territories of or the states of today's Bihar and Odisha. It became independent under Murshid Quli Khan, who was appointed as Diwan of Bengal by Aurangzeb. So Diwan means chief treasury official. So Murshid Quli Khan made himself independent at that time. In 1717, he was made Subedar of Bengal by Farrukh Siyar. Subedar means chief administrator of a province. He remained governor of Bengal from CE 1717 to 1727. He remained governor of Bengal from 1717 to 1727. Murshid Quli Khan established an efficient administration and effectively reorganized the revenue system. He also introduced the new system of land revenue collection on the basis of contracts. This is known as the Izara system. He recognized the Zamindari, and for this he is very well remembered in the history of Bengal. Murshid Quli Khan shifted his capital from Dhaka to Murshidabad. He was succeeded by Sujauddin and Ali Vardi Khan. So Murshid Quli Khan was an efficient administrator and he recognized the revenue system. He also introduced a new system of collecting the revenue. That was on the basis of contracts. It's called Izara system. Izara or Izara system The spellings can be written either in either form, written on the right hand side. So let's discuss what this system actually was. This was introduced in Mughal Empire under Jahangir Shah. Under this system, the government gave the right to collect tax revenue on production to a third party, means to a middleman, and in return got an assured sum from the third party. The third party could impose any percentage of tax on the people. This was different from the earlier system, as in case of the older system, tax was collected at a fixed rate, means it was fixed by the state or fixed by the government and could not be changed by individuals or tax officials. Means now there is a middleman for collecting the tax, and that middleman can impose any percentage of tax on the people. So this is how it was different from the earlier system. Earlier only government can collect the tax, and that too the tax is fixed, like 20% of the produce, 30% of the produce, or 40% of the produce, like that. But now it is not fixed, and that middleman who is collecting the tax can take any percentage, whatever he want, as the tax from the people. So these middlemen exploited the people under the new system called Ijara system. So the poor farmers have to suffer. The province of Bengal was well administrated by Ali Wordi Khan. He was followed by Sirajuddaula and Mir Jafar. It was during Siraj's time that the relationship with the English East India Company became strained. So these administrators came later. First came Ali Wordi Khan, then Sirajuddaula and Mir Jafar. And when Sirajuddaula was the administrator of the Bengal, at that time there was English East India Company established in India already near Kolkata, and the relationship were earlier friendly with that company, but now the relationship became strained, means there were tensions, so it was no more friendly. So there was a battle between Sirajuddaula and the English East India Company, which was a British company in India, came here for trade. So this battle is called Battle of Plassey. In this battle, the English defeated Siraj's army. From then onwards, the English East India Company functions as kingmakers in Bengal politics. So now the English East India Company start interfering in the politics of Bengal, and they become the kingmakers. Kingmakers means when somebody act as a person who will choose the representative of that state. Finally, the English established their full sway in 1765 when Robert Clive set up the dual government in Bengal. So Robert Clive was the representative of the English East India Company, and he was the leader of the army at that time, and he established his full control on Bengal in 1765, and he established dual government in Bengal. Dear students, you must open the page 32 of your book, and you must be reading from topic Hyderabad. Before we start reading this topic, you must know the meaning of the word Nizam. The title of hereditary ruler of Hyderabad means the rulers of Hyderabad are known as Nizam. Chinkilich Khan, who was the governor of Hyderabad, founded the state of Hyderabad in CE 1724. In CE 1722, he defeated the Syed brothers and was given the title Nizam ul Mulk, which means Nizam of the Mulk. by Mughal Emperor Muhammad Shah. Although he never declared his independence, yet he acted as an independent ruler. He started the Asaf Jahi dynasty, which lasted for over 2 centuries. He tried to keep the Marathas out of his kingdom and followed a policy of tolerance towards the Hindus. After his death in 1748, the state fell into the hands of his weak successors. They were known as Nizams. The title of hereditary ruler of Hyderabad. Because of their weakness, the European companies started interfering in the internal affairs of Deccan to suit themselves. So first, the ruler of the Hyderabad was Chinkilich Khan. After him came the new rulers known as Nizams. These rulers were weak rulers, so they got defeated by the European Company. The European companies means the French East India Company and the English East India Company. These companies we call them European companies. These companies, these students came to India for establishing their trade relations with India. But as they know that the rulers of Indian states like Hyderabad, Bengal, they were becoming weaker and weaker. So they were fighting with each other. So they took the opportunity. They took the advantage of this and they started interfering in the politics of these states, and they slowly but gradually take over such states, and slowly they established their rule all over India. Especially British established their rule all over India, and we got independence from them in 1947. In the picture you can see the Chowmahalla Palace. The Chowmahalla Palace at night time, and in the picture at the bottom is the interior of the same palace. Next state is Awadh. Look at the map of India. The area shown in red color is Awadh. Sadat Khan was appointed as the governor of Awadh in CE 1722 by the Mughal Emperor Muhammad Shah. Sadat Khan suppressed the rebellious Jamidars and reformed the revenue system. He tried to establish peace in the state. After his death in 1739, he was succeeded by his son-in-law Safdarjung. Safdarjung founded an independent dynasty in Awadh, and his son Sujaudullah gave peace and prosperity to Awadh. Lucknow, their capital city, became a distinct and refined culture known as Lucknowi culture. So, as I have already told you that every state have its own governor, which was under the Mughal Empire, and these governors were becoming more and more powerful, and they were gaining independence from the central authority. So Sadat Khan was the governor of Awadh. He suppressed the rebellious Jamidars and reformed the revenue system. Means there were Jamidars who were going against the state, and they were becoming rebellious. Means they were protesting against the state. He suppressed them. Means he managed to make them at peace, and he also reformed the revenue system. He was succeeded by his son-in-law Safdarjung. Safdarjung founded independent dynasty in the Awadh, and his son Sujaudullah gave peace and prosperity to Awadh. They started a new and distinct culture of their own, which was called Lucknowi culture, after the name of their capital city, Lucknow. Even in today's Uttar Pradesh, the capital city is Lucknow. In the picture, you can see Safdarjung's tomb. Next, it is Rohilkhand. The Rohillas were an Afghan tribe settled in Muradabad, Bareilly region of Uttar Pradesh. Taking advantage of the confusion caused by Nadir Shah's invasion, their leader Ali Muhammad Khan established his control over Rohilkhand. They fought constant battles with Delhi, Avd, the Jats, and the Marathas. So these were the Afghan tribes who were living in Muradabad, Bareilly region of today's Uttar Pradesh. And they took advantage when Nadir Shah attacked on India. The leader of the Rohillas was Ali Muhammad Khan, and he took Rohilkhand in his control. After taking control over this area called Rohilkhand, they fought constant battles with the rulers of Delhi, Avd, the Jats, and the Marathas. In the map, you can see Avd and Rohilkhand. Students, open page 33 of your book and read from the paragraph the Sikhs. The Sikhs were transformed into warrior sect after the execution of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji by Aurangzeb. Then came the 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and he transformed the Sikhs into a military brotherhood called Khalsa. Khalsa word is made from the word Khalis from the language Persian, which is called Farsi, and it means pure. And aim of the Khalsa was to fight against wrongdoings of the Mughals. Guru Gobind Singh Ji was succeeded by Baba Banda Bahadur Ji, who was the first Sikh general. You can see the photo on the right hand side, Baba Banda Singh Bahadur Ji. Baba Banda Singh Bahadur Ji, he fought against the Mughals for 8 long years, but after that he was captured by the Mughals and he was killed in 1716. Then Maharaja Ranjit Singh was the leader of the Sikhs, and he united the Sikh chiefs. He made 12 groups of them, and these groups are commonly known as missals. He brought the whole area west of the river Satluj under his control and established the Sikh kingdom in Punjab. He signed the Treaty of Amritsar with Lord Minto. This treaty is also called Treaty of Perpetual Friendship. And this treaty, which confirmed his conquest and sovereignty over the territory west of the Satluj. It means that the area of Punjab at that time, which was towards the west of the Satluj, was with Maharaja Ranjit Singh. And it was only after his death in 1839, so it means Maharaja Ranjit Singh Ji died in 1839, and after his death that the English gained control over the Punjab. So only after his death that the British means they gained control over the Punjab. Before his death, they dare not to conquer Punjab. Maharaja Ranjit Singh in the picture, and Sikh Empire on the other hand, which is shown with blue color. The Jats. The Jats were the people who were engaged in agricultural activities. They were living around Delhi, Agra, and Mathura. They did not like the oppressive policies of Aurangzeb. So they were raising their voice against Aurangzeb, and their leaders were Churaman and his nephew Badan Singh. They declared independence. Means they didn't want to stay with Mughal Empire as Aurangzeb was a cruel person for them, and they declared independence. And their hero was Surajmal, who was son of Badan Singh. He was a Jat hero, shown in the picture as well. He extended the Jat empire, or you can say he extended the Jat kingdom from Agra to Delhi, which included the areas of Hathras, Aligarh, Rewari and Gurgaon. Their capital was at Bharatpur. The Rajputs. The Rajputs were always fighting with each other. There was no unity among them. Raja Swai Jai Singh was a very famous ruler. The city of Jaipur, which is known as Pink City, was built by him. It is a very planned city. Raja Swai Jai Singh was a statesman, scientist and social reformer. Statesman means a good administrator or politician. He built observatories at Delhi, Jaipur, Mathura, Ujjain and Varanasi. Out of these observatories, also known as Jantar Mantars, Mathura observatory is no longer existing because it was destroyed during the revolt of 1857. As a political power, the Rajputs were insignificant during the 18th century. Means Rajputs were not that powerful during the 18th century. So the observatory, also known as Jantar Mantar of Jaipur, is shown in your book, and the one which is shown here at the right hand side is at Delhi. Your homework: read the chapter, learn the keywords. That's all for now. Thank you so much.